Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Look at this mess. So it's dark today. There is snow on the ground. This is Kansas. We don't get a lot of snow where I live, but I have all of the snow stuff out because my kids and my husband are outside. I'm about to get out there too, but I wanted to show you real quick what you're gonna paint with me today. Wanted to do a very simple project of daisies, some different simple colors, and just get into that routine and ritual of self-care. Stay to the end because I do have a free workshop coming up. I want to tell you about it, linked below, as well as my floral watercolor course is launching again in a few weeks. So get on the wait list for a really sweet deal, and I'll tell you more about it later, but the link is in the description. Let's get to painting. So we're spraying down our palette, and we've got this lovely journal here. This is it, probably most likely just pulp paper, new journal that I got. And I did get to paint a couple things in it. And when you put that first layer, you can see it's not quite absorbing the way, cotton does. But as you start to add those layers, you notice that it really is able to build up some good color. So this is kind of the reference I'm thinking about and I'm focusing on today. Just doing some nice daisies, but of course, we're gonna do our own spin, as I do. So I'm gonna grab my brush number 6 here, round, and we're gonna start with a cadmium yellow to put our centers in first. So a pretty nice mix of that color. And let's just put them right about here on the page. So a nice, fairly large circle for a center of a flower. And then I do like to leave a highlight, so we'll do that, because why not? All right, let's do another one actually I'm just going to put it right here. So, I'm considering the reference, but then I'm also doing my own stuff, as I like to do. I'm not going to copy, but it's okay if you like copying. I like to use it for inspiration. All right, then we'll take some more yellow and we're going to put this side facing, so just a half circle, a little side facing middle, and that's good. All right, so I'm going to dry this and then we're going to come back. Okay, so for the second layer, I'm taking that same brush, but I'm going to take some brown, I've got some burnt umber, and kind of mixing that in with this dark color I already have on here. A little bit more water would be good to just brighten that up. Loosen that up, that's what I wanted to say. Dab a little bit, and then we're going to just make some little dots around the center on the outside of the center, and just little tiny, these are called stipple marks. We'll do a few more later, but we're going to do one here in the middle too. All right, and then over here as well, in the center, and then on the outside. Okay, and then we'll do a little bit over here too, just kind of on this part, and then on the top as well. And I'm going to darken these up a little bit, but we'll probably add in more marks too as we keep going. We're going to dry these. All right, now we're going to start putting in our petals. And I'm going to try using a filbert and see how this goes. It's got that beautiful rounded tip that the outside of the petal needs, or the top of it needs. So we'll do that. And I usually put in centers first. I don't usually dry them, but you have to be really careful not to let those petals touch or else things start bleeding. But I wanted to dry them because there's a lot of paint on there. So when it comes to doing white flowers, often a light gray color is really good for that. Just really light, watery paint. Light blue would be good. You could do a light yellow, tan. And we're going to just figure out how long we want our petals to be. I'd say probably about right here. And we're just going to draw that to the center. And then continue on our way. So about that same length. Now I like to just work in little sections because that really helps. I'm twisting the brush, if you're noticing that, as I get towards the middle. Twist a little, and it just creates a nice look thinness as it's attaching to the center. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but that's sort of my process. So very light paint, putting on these multiple petals. And then we're gonna have to flip over this way now, or this way, or this way. So it's kind of awkward, but you do want to make sure that as you're putting those petals down, that you're able to go from the outside in. That's really important. And for just making sure that your petals are all even. Now, with this, we are going to add in more layers afterwards of paint. Just gonna awkwardly do this one. Boop. And you know, some of that middle will spread in, but don't worry about that. That's okay. So just putting that down little by little. And if you want to, you can change up the color. So you don't have to do the same one. I think it's more fun just to kind of, and you can even do like some side facing petals. So they're really thin like that. So just kind of changing it up. So we could even take some blue now if we wanted. Why not? A little blue-gray, or a little bit more blue, a little green. Just have fun. So we'll put this one in there. And it's just that motion over and over. Now, if you want to make it look more realistic, you're going to maybe skip some edges, maybe put a few petals together, and then leave a bigger space in between some. Once you start to practice, you're going to kind of get to that place where you know what your favorite style is for painting something. And the brush movements are going to get more natural. You kind of, get the hang of it. It gets a little bit easier. So we got that one, and then we've got this side facing. I'm going to go a little bit yellow in there, maybe kind of a tannish color. And for this one, we are just kind of curving these petals out to the side and down here as well, flipping it, grabbing some more paint. And you're not going to see all the petals with this guy. Sorry, sometimes my hand might cover it up a little bit, just because of the angle. And then we can put in some more here. All right. Layering that on. And this is pretty dry. I'm going to grab some of my blue because we're going to start building up some layering a little bit. And you want to go a little bit darker than you did before. I don't want to do the blue for this one. I want to keep it to that. So with this one, you can kind of just grab whatever floats your boat. Like there's some purple on there. Really light versions of all these are going to give you some nice results. So within this, I'm going to start to go a little bit more like kind of swooping around, adding some personality in with this, because that base layer is pretty boring. And so I just want to maybe even take a little bit more purple, and I'm just swooping it around and twisting and turning that brush so I can get some just nice unique marks. And all of a sudden, that's looking a lot more interesting than it did just a minute ago. So a little more blue. Let's see if these are dry enough. Yeah. And so even if you want to go, crazy, do a little bit more bolder blue, you could do that too. But this idea of kind of swooping in is really important, just to create some movement with your flower. And sometimes this feels very awkward to do because if you're not used to painting like that, or quickly or whatnot, it's going to feel strange. But it's just a practice. You start to figure it out over time. So a little bit of that yellow kind of coming in. I'm just going over the marks that I've made, and this is going to give it more of that fluffy fluffy look, because now we've got the light on the bottom, we've got the dark on top, and it's going to look like there's still a lot happening here. So you can leave it at that if you want to be more bold. I'm going to grab some purple, and I'm even going to just go over the top of some of these, but not all of them. This is all just a fun little practice in trying to add in shadows and, see what that looks like for you. So, this was a whitish idea of a flower. We still have that idea underneath, but now we've got some bold marks, which is creating some interest for our painting. All right, we're gonna put in our greens now. So I've got my number 6 round. I love to go for my beautiful olive green. So look at how I'm just kind of swirling that brush around. And then, woo, I almost dropped it, which would have been fun. So fun. So we're gonna put in our stems here, kind of arcing them around. This guy is up there. We're gonna follow it down and gonna follow it within this bunch here. And then this one. So now they're all together. I've got to do some leaves. I'd like to do some little buds. So just a little bit of a bud there. And then over here, and this is where I'm starting to make this painting more my own, because we're adding in some things that weren't in that reference. And so I encourage you to just figure out where's your voice and how do you make it unique? What's the intuition, what's the what's the conversation in your head about what's happening here and how you want to just go with your gut with some of this painting experience. It's very important to do that and to try things out and to fail. Also, it's important to fail if you didn't know that, because then you learn what you like and what you don't like. And when you fail, it means you've been trying, okay? It's really important. Even though nobody likes the idea of failing, but it does mean you're trying stuff. So yay! Not that we want to fail all the time. It doesn't always feel the best. Just putting in some leaves, obviously, but you can't give up. You got to keep trying and figuring things out. You got to do it. So we're going to put in some little marks here for our leaves, and I'm just pressing down, with the belly of the brush to make some of those marks known. And I think I'm going to do some lighter ones right here. So then with that, I will add in a stem later. I do want to do different values, and it makes it just look more fun to have different shades, values, and all that. So now I'm doing this boldly without a stem. Take off some of that paint, and then we can also do some right here. So it's sort of trying to figure out the balance of everything. Where does everything go? What's going to look kind of natural? What are we trying to do here? And I'll go like this. And also, not every leaf has to be connected to the main everything. Just so you know, it really doesn't. Your brain might tell you it needs to, but in the grand scheme of things, your brain doesn't always know what you need. So like, for example, very light paint on my brush. Oh yeah, I didn't do the stem here. So finishing that. Right, just a little extra there. And then over here, I can what can I do? Honestly, I can continue to add some marks over here, and we're just playing. A little stem here, and then I can do some more leaves. So, where do I want to put stuff? I feel like I need some heaviness over here, but at the same time, I can, let's see. Well, so this is a point where you step back and you look and say, okay, how is this coming together? What's missing? I actually want to do some green splatter. So let's go for that. Just a little bit here where the green stuff is. And sometimes you just need to keep it simple and you sort of like decide that you're walking away because, let's put some darker, because maybe you've put all the marks that you need. And so that's okay to do as well. But I want to put in just a little bit of darkness right there. A little bit of darkness. Okay, now I want to mix up my dark, which is this Payne's Gray and Olive Green. Because this is going to be, you know, where my darkest dark is, right? And then I'm going to be doing some high contrast by adding in some shadows for the stems, some of the stems. And I feel like that just makes it interesting. Yeah, a little bit of dark right here too. So I'm just kind of dragging the brush at this point, like that. And allowing it to be part of this little story here. But it's very loose, not a lot to it. Okay, so just to wrap this up, because we are almost done, I'm actually going to grab some of this dark again. And I want to go around my daisies on the outside and just fix this up a little bit. And over here too. Now that all the leaves, or not the leaves, but the petals are down, I like to go over the middles again sometimes just to make them more defined. Make them, again, we're looking for contrast. Okay. Well, I think this is it. I do want to do a little blue for splatter here. And, ooh, that's nice. Like in 3 sections. All right, guys, that's it. All right, friends, I hope you enjoyed painting daisies with me today and that you experienced some peace and calm and relaxation as well. I want to remind you that I have a free watercolor workshop coming up this Monday, so click the link to sign up to register. If you can't make it in the morning, it's okay. You'll get the replay, and so no big deal. You can watch it when you can if you're busy. Also, my watercolor florals course, like I said, I'm launching it soon again, so click the link below to get on the wait list. You get a really nice discount access to that if you do decide you'd like to purchase when it's launching. So thanks so much for being here, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. Happy painting, happy mental health, and see you later.